What's up guys, it's your boy Samar here with a new world video. Today we're actually going to be talking about armoring and everything it takes to level it up. Please understand that there is no one-stop shop when it comes to uh, leveling a trade. It does take a lot of commitment and it takes either a lot of farming or a lot of money, one or the other. I'll be giving you a good way of both ends of the coin, how you can supplement them. But for the most part, I'll be giving you how to level up from 0 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 150, and 150 to 200. Giving you just set recipes you should be making, as well as sprinkling some things you can do after 150 that will really help your progress and on how I leveled up to 200. So before we actually get into what to be crafting, you're not going to be touching the forge at all. If you're using the forge to do any kind of leveling for armor and you're doing it wrong, not because I'm telling you that there's a preference, but because you're using a lot of metal to get any of these things made. It's just way too much, and it's not really sustainable in the long run to be doing that because you don't get enough XP for how much you're farming or purchasing those items for. Just wanted to put that out there. So in terms of leveling from 0 to 50, you're going to be doing linen hand wraps. So linen hand wraps or linen gloves, really doesn't matter, they're the exact same thing required in terms of level and material. You're going to be making those until you're level 50. It's just going to take some linen, rugged leather, and iron ingot. Pretty cheap. I later down the video I'll have a bookmark of where you can actually find a bunch of leather and find a bunch of fiber if you're in need of it, because if you're gonna be going down the farming route, you're gonna need a lot of it. So yeah, level 50. This is after you get there. Then we're gonna start moving on to satin gloves. So in terms of satin gloves, you're gonna want to make sure that after you level 50, you start making these all the way up until 100. You want to make sure you change the leather into coarse leather and your metal into iron, or because it's gonna automatically adjust to some of your higher tier stuff, and we don't want that. We're just trying to make it just to level up, because at the end of the day, we're just gonna be scrapping all these items. It's gonna go up to satin. The reason we want to do this instead of the linen wraps is for the same reason. Your sanity, you're gonna be making double, almost triple the amount that you're gonna need, instead of just making satin gloves. So just keep going up a tier every 50 levels. In this sense, we're gonna be satin. Um, so you're gonna have to. So this will also kind of like casually level up your weaving, which is super nice. If by some odd chance you find that getting leather is a lot better, personally, I found getting leather is faster than getting the what's it called, fiber. So you're gonna actually want to move that up into the rugged leather gloves, if I can find that. So yeah, rugged leather gloves give you the same XP, and they require the exact same material, except that leather and cloth end up switching. Personally, I did find that using leather is a lot more accessible than it is fiber, so I went with leather. You are going to still need to use the regents to upgrade from coarse leather to rugged leather, but it's a lot easier doing this way. And that's how you get, and you're just going to take this all the way to your level 100. After you're a level 100, we're actually going to move up to layered leather gloves. Now that you're up in this level of 100, we're going to be making layered leather gloves. We're still going to be changing this to cloth, linen, and you're still going to be changing this to iron, so those two don't change. The only thing that upgrades is now layered leather. Layered leather, you're gonna have to upgrade coarse leather into rugged, rugged into layered. In the tannery, this is of course a nice way to level up your tannery at the same time. It's gonna give you a nice 675 of the armoring, and you're just gonna take this all the way up until 150. You are gonna make a good bit of these. This is probably the longest grind in just being in the middle of it, which is all right. If again, there's two different ones you can make. You can actually go to silk gloves if you want. It takes the same material, except that it just replaces it for the silk as opposed to leather. So same exact thing. You can choose either or. If you find fibers easier, you make the silk gloves. If you find leathers easier, which I did, use the layered leather gloves. And that's how. And you just take that all the way to 150. So now that we're up at level 150, you're going to be using the infused leather gloves. This is obviously going to take infused leather. It still takes the same amount of linen, still takes the same amount of metal. It's going to give you 1,395 armoring, which is a lot nicer, and you're going to keep going from there. It's from here, you're just making this up until you're 200. This is the most cost-effective way outside of some tips and tricks that I'm going to give you after I talk about this. But in terms of just gathering, skinning, and just making all the stuff you need, um, this is your bread and butter. You're gonna take this all the way to level um, 200. Again, if you find silk is easier for you than it is leather, then you can just start making the infused silk gloves, which is the exact same thing of just doing that. This is the most cost-effective way if you are farming. Let it be known that I am telling you if you are farming. If you're going to be going the farming route, what I recommend to you is to actually get yourself the best proficiency that you can get in terms of common proficiency boosters. Some they sell them in the shop, or you can craft them yourself in the engineering. They're not too expensive here. I don't have the best one, but increases the amount of resources gathered with a tool by 7%. This helps a lot because if for every 10 that you get, you're gonna get what, 7? I mean, for every 100 you get 7 more, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're gathering at the amounts that you're gonna need, it is a lot. Also, you're gonna also need a skinning knife that gives you some yield. So here I have skinning yield 16% more resources. It helps out a lot. You really don't need the luck. I mean, if you want to get a chance of getting somewhat good material, then yeah, you could put a whole luck set. But for the most part, you're just in it for the material. You're not in it for the rare resources. So you don't even have to change what you're wearing for this. Just get the skinning yield and get the proficiency booster and start going from there. Where you're gonna go specifically is actually pretty easy. You're actually end up going to Fort Ramos. You may have seen a video or two from other people talking about how good Fort Ramos is. It really is that good. If you're just looking for raw hide, here raw hide is going to be right in this section right here. You're not going to really want to leave the bottom half of the area. Fort Ramos has a bunch of corrupted dogs you can kill, a bunch of lynxes, and a bunch of boar that all give around 40, 50 to 60 rawhide per kill, and there's a lot of them there. You can get probably like 10k rawhide in like an hour if you really grinded it out, and it's definitely the most underrated spot for leather. If you're looking for fiber you can actually find either right outside of Windsor, but this is a very contested town, so I don't recommend that. You can actually find all the fiber here in Restless Shore. Just by teleporting up here to the Shrine of Symphos, I butchered, right outside the depths. Restless Shore right here, just going around this whole line all the way down, nothing but fiber. It's a lot of fiber, and it's really nice, to be honest. Morningdale has a bunch too. I'll even link a website where you can actually see the entire map of all the resources you're looking for. That'll make searching a lot easier. Alright, so now that you're between 150 and 200, and maybe you're a little bit tired of the grind of skinning, and gathering, you can start using a little bit more of your money if you would like to progress a little faster. So if you actually look into the outfitting station, you're at level 150, you can actually start making bags that people care for. If I can find it. There it is. So at 150, you can start making the best tier bags so far in the game. The infused leather bags. Here, it takes 45 leather, 25 linen, 1 and 10 metal, and 1 grand root of holding. Now, if you're gonna need to make this for yourself, I'd say making 3 bags for yourself is pretty nice. You do get a great 12,555 XP, and you're also getting something out of it. Also, if you have any friends that want any bags, this is great. You can let them know, hey, bring me all the stuff that you need to make the bag. I'll make you the bag, and you get the XP out of it, which is great. Now, how I ended up abusing this a little bit, I did gather or spend money to get the infused leather, linen, and iron ingot that I needed, and all I did was actually go into all chat and I actually offered people to make bags for them as long as they just brought the Grand Root of Holding. I used my Azos for them because they're gonna want the perks, and that's it. Now some people will say, oh, but it's not free. Well, this is your tips and tricks section of the video. It's not necessarily the way of just gathering for free. If you want, you can just get all the material, offer them to make it, you get the Azos, offer them to make it just by bringing the Grand Rune Folding, you make it for them, and you give it back to them. This will still give you the 12,555 XP for only using 45 leather. And that's very cost effective because you're getting so much XP for little leather that you're doing in compared to the wraps that you're in compared to the infused gloves that you're making. So if you can ever do that, so I got on, probably made like 12. In terms of my second tip, this is for my people who have a good bit of gold or maybe want to spend a little money to get a little faster. Depending on the server you're in, you're gonna have to compare. You're gonna have to see. But on my server, back when I was armoring, leveling up my armoring, I actually ended up buying infused leather. For a good bit, nothing too crazy. It's 7 gold each, so and back when I was doing it, it was a lot cheaper. So maybe it's still cheaper in your server, or maybe you're in a more of a dead server and it's a lot cheaper. But because it was a lot of people at the time leveling up their tannery and their weaving, and they couldn't really use it, they were just selling it. So here, as you can see, maybe a little expensive for them for sure. It's about 7 the going price. Same thing for infused. I think silk I did as well. This is going for 10, so you might want to definitely not the best price in terms of that. But if you wanted to spend money, you can always just buy it, right? It'll definitely boost it up because you're not going to be using your regents and you're not spending the time to gather it, and it'll just make that right out for you. So yeah, those are my 2 tips and tricks. You can either go to the shop and buy the materials you need, which may or may not be the best cost-effective way to do it, but it definitely rushes it out. The other way is by offering bags, which is something I mostly did, because once you start reaching the around 180, it takes about 24 to 25,000 XP per level, and then you eventually have setting 30,000 per level once you're at around 190. So it definitely rushes it out. And that's about it, guys. That is my guide to armoring. Let me know in the comment section if you personally found some ways to do things better or easier, or found other spots to make things a lot easier. It is definitely a skill worth having. I worked really hard to get to where I am and farmed a lot and spent some money even to get to where I am. Personally, I found that armoring is very great. It's definitely a future-proof trade skill that everybody's gonna need, and it's better to do things yourself for the long haul than it is to like give all your resources to somebody else. So yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. It really helped me out. And see you guys in the next